Biden to make first appearance since complaints about behavior. Washington. In countless conversations over the past year, former Vice President Joe Biden, his advisors, and his broad network of friends and family have openly discussed the vulnerabilities he would face if he ran for president. A voting record. What Biden likely didn't expect was to be confronting those issues so fully before even launching a campaign. On Friday, Biden will make his first public appearance since several women began recounting encounters with him that left them uneasy. The first was Nevada. It's unclear whether he will address the situation in his remarks to the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. He said in a Biden allies insist the eruption has done little to slow down planning for a 2020 campaign. Barring the unforced, advisors say they are working to build out a robust campaign staff, including operatives in Iowa and South Carolina, states that are seen as key to his path to the nomination. Women are being Biden's sister, Valerie Biden Owens, has long been one of his most trusted political confidants. His daughter, but the past few weeks have laid bare the challenges Biden would face. Some women's group. Biden was also broadly panned following reports that he was considering asking 2018 Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, a 45-year-old African-American woman, to be his running mate during the Democratic primaries. Abrams herself, speaking to MSNBC on Thursday, Abrams offered support for Biden and said Democrats shouldn't have. The rush of attention on Biden's behavior with women has been particularly intense, raising questions about whether his hugs and shoulder squeezes are simply out of a different era or a new front in the Me Too movement that has put a spotlight on the actions of powerful men. As the scrutiny has intensified, Biden has kept the counsel of a small group of advisors who have been with him for years. The team appeared to it. Beaumont reported from Des Moines, Iowa. AP writer follow Julie Pace at http://twitter.com/jpacedc and Thomas Beaumont at http://twitter.com/tombeaumont.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.